Name and title.
Yes, my name is Donald Brown. I'm Associate Professor of Environmental Ethics, Science, and Law at Penn State University.
And could you talk about the theme of the workshop that we just finished, the climate denial movement, which
Right.
is affecting the political discourse not only within our country but within the United Nations as a whole. Many people see the United States holding up the process to coming to an international agreement on this issue.
Well, I think it is, in fact, the climate denier disinformation campaign which is responsible for a failure of the U.S. to act. I've been in the middle of the debate. I believe that that despite the seriousness of the problem, U.S. politicians don't see strong political support for doing anything, and I attribute that to a very well-organized climate denial information campaign.
Regarding the science, you mentioned before, there's think tanks funded by ExxonMobil and the Koch brothers and so forth. Is it just a matter that the NGOs that are here, fighting for action on climate change don't have the kind of money that the others do, or is there, what else is at play here?
Well, I think it is a lot about money and who can control the media, and so it's not a fair fight from a money point of view. I actually think that I actually blame some of the NGOs for how they've gone at this. So the climate deniers say that there's no scientific basis for concern, and the NGOs often say that everything is settled. Everything's not completely settled, but it's a moral question whether you have a duty to act given what we know. I think the NGOs could be doing a better job in fighting this. You have to know a little bit about how science should work or how it does work. But there's a strong consensus. The elements of the consensus has several parts. One is that the planet is warming. No one denies that. The second part of it is that it's largely human-caused. And third part of it is that we're headed for really bad stuff unless we really reduce dramatically greenhouse gases around the world. The human causation is actually based upon 7 or 8 different lines of evidence. They're independent and robust. Most people don't know that evidence. The deniers don't know that evidence in my experience. And it's evidence. It doesn't prove 100% anything, but it's very strong evidence. Okay. So what the climate deniers say, if you don't prove it 100%, there is no evidence. Okay. So they're playing tricks like that.
And regarding ClimateGate,
right.
People see this as a smoke. Some people
right.
are painting this as a smoking gun.
Right.
That it is proof that climate change is not man-made, that it's part of a natural cycle or something else. Right. How do you even attempt to argue that point with people with that mindset?
Well, first of all, the most prestigious institutions have looked at it and exonerated Phil Jones and Michael Mann. Okay, almost all of them have said. Many scientific organizations have also looked at the science of climate change in light of Emailgate and said it doesn't change their position. Okay? So it's been thoroughly investigated. What it was focusing on is a couple of really narrow issues about tree ring data, and none of it goes to the heart of the evidence on which human attribution is based. It has nothing to do with that. Okay, so it is an attempt to discredit everything by focusing on something relatively small in the scientific literature.
Do you see any hope in the near future that the United States is going to have an about-face on their policy towards climate change?
I say I'm a pessimist, but I'm hopeful. So there's always hope, but there's no evidence right now that in the next year or two, looks like we're going to lose another year at minimum before the U.S. does anything, and that's tragic.
And you were talking before that we've lost 30 years already.
Right.
And because of this issue, is there a chance we could lose 30 more?
I would think so. I mean, on the other hand, some of the science is going to say that every year we're going to have more violent storms. It's going to become more and more obvious, and that may wake people up. Only time will tell.
I absolutely agree with them that the climate denial has been a huge problem in the United States, and it's been an orchestrated effort. Actually, he didn't get into some of the things that we really disagree on involving science issues, but I don't know. You asked why it's taken such purchase in the United States, why it's had so much of an effect. It's really hard to say, except that I think that it seems persuasive to people, and it fits with their views of climate change often, that it just, if you don't really know what to do, if you don't want to read the science, you don't know really who to trust. So when you see competing views in the media, and I think the media really have been responsible for presenting, by trying to present all sides of the picture on climate change issues, I think they've often given more attention to some of the disinformation than should have been there. I think that the media should have picked up on that. On the other hand, the media aren't scientists, so it's hard to say what you can or can't expect of them in this situation.
Thank you.